Wouldn't it suck to be a sea turtle? I mean, do you have like thousands of siblings that are born at the same time? And each of you are vying slowly to be the one that survives, that has enough food later, that doesn't get eaten or killed or otherwise deadened, unalived, if you will, by the plethora of different things. But it would suck more to be a sea turtle today than it would be in the past, than it was in the past. And that's because of us, because of humans. Two things that I want to talk about, even though there are so many different things that we are doing to the turtles, and a ton of other sea life, but mainly turtles for the first and second thing. It's what they're very popular for. One, plastic. A ton of plastics in the ocean, on beaches. People are getting stuck on them, mistaking them for food because there's not enough food, and generally harming their place where they live. That'd be like if somebody threw a trash bag into my room and expected me to survive. I would survive. That'd be like if somebody threw a trash bag into my room every single hour of the day, and while I was in it, and I couldn't get out because it was just too fast, and expecting me to not suffocate from all the trash, to the point where there's no air in there. That sort of thing. Or throwing an empty bottle at like if you were to throw an empty bottle into a room of someone who hasn't eaten in a long time, kind of Monte Cristo style, and like that's cruel, right? They think it's food, and it's just like, well, this is just trash, and then that's how they die. They think it's food when it's not, and it gets stuck, or it corrodes something, or breaks a tooth, and then you can't eat anything else, and then you just sort of starve, or that's just the only thing that you thought was food in a long time, and you're so close, and you put all your hopes into it, and then it's actually just a lie. That's not fun. And two, light pollution. Imagine you're a very tiny sea turtle, crawling your way out of the egg, finally seeing anything outside of like an egg, outside of the inside of an egg for the first time. And instinctively, you're like, I gotta get to the light. The light is where the ocean is. But instead, you see a ton of lights, and you're confused. And so you go to the brightest one. Then you get hit by a car, because the brightest one is in the city, or it's in like the little villa right next to the ocean, right next to the beach, next to the ocean. And you're like, well, what the heck? My instincts, my brain told me that I was supposed to go there. And now I'm not alive anymore. What? How did this happen? It's because we have too many lights up and we're confusing everything. Because now these things think, it's like, oh, that's the moon, and it must be, because that's the brightest thing. Or other ones are like, oh, well, it's not daytime. It's daytime forever now. I'm a nocturnal animal, It's daytime forever. I guess I'll just starve and wait for it to become nighttime again, but it never will be, because no one will turn their lights off. I talk about light pollution a ton. There's a funny story. In 1994, in San Francisco, it's the most famous light pollution story. Not San Francisco. Los Angeles. Where there was an earthquake, knocked out all the power, and there's a power outage, and people called local emergency services to say, whoa, there's a cloud up there, it's aliens, something's weird happening in our sky. And what it was the Milky Way galaxy, something they'd never seen before, something that nowadays a third of people on the planet Earth will never see with their own eyes, with like their naked eye. I mean, that's something important, right? I'm sure I'll bring a story up again. It's a very famous light pollution story, and I like talking about light pollution. But if you're a sea turtle, and you just happen to avoid that, you're like, well, that was weird. Why were there so many moons in the sky? You go into the ocean, bam, you get stuck on something, starve, die. Bam! Bigger animal thinking you're food. There's so many little chances for sea turtles to actually make it to adulthood and reproduce. Why are we causing those chances to be even lower? What do we gain from that? I have no idea. Anyway, if you are in charge of lights, like very big electrical grids or outdoor lights, and you're watching this video, I hope this guilted you into lobbying for covers on your lights so that the light don't dissipate into the sky, so that we can't have more people seeing the weird alien cloud that the Los Angeles people saw, being the Milky Way galaxy. And so that a bunch of wildlife can, not die because we have just too much light in the air. And having a lot of light in the air is also bad for us. But it must suck to be a sea turtle. Right? The previous videos were happy. Wonder what happened to it. Hasn't been that long. Yeah.